Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lamide.
The future is now. The future is now. The future is now.
So happy new year, welcome to the month of January. I hope this year and this month will be one of greatness, of joy, and of just progress actually. So I have not spoken to you guys in forever. I apologize about that. It's 100% my fault. But I'm back. So yeah, and I'm back with a life update. So some very exciting news. I'm going to reintroduce myself. I'm Lamide, Senior Project Officer. That's right, because what? I got promoted again. Round of applause. Yeah, I got promoted in November and I started my new role this month in January, and it's just really exciting to be like, wow, I have a career. I actually have a career now. I am a boss babe and I make some good money. Shout out to Jesus. But there were some things I really did and some strategies I put in place to make sure that literally by the end of 2021 I would be promoted again, and this meant that I got promoted by like 4 grades. So the way my work is organized is on a grading system. So earlier last year in January I was a grade 5, and by November I was a grade 9, and I just wanted to share some of the tips and the things I did and put in place to make that change and that jump. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, like, share and subscribe, and let's get straight into it. So the first thing I want to say is it's very important for you to make a plan at the beginning of your career of where you want to go in 1, 3 and 5 years, and share that plan with a trusted mentor. Hopefully that trusted mentor can be in your workplace, but somebody that can like hold you accountable and somebody that's more senior than you. So I have a mentor who's like more like a life coach actually, who's a director in a different organization, and who was really helpful in me planning the steps I want to take when I first started my career and when I was ready to move, and then the next steps as well. So when I first started, or when I first graduated, I knew what sector I wanted to work in, but I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. So when an opportunity arose, I took it, and it just gave me an entrance into the sector that I wanted to be in, which is government. And then I knew that once I'm in, and I can work my way around the organisation, because the organisation I'm in is very big. And I knew that I wanted to be in either education and youth, or skills and employment. So I knew that that was where I was interested in, and those were the teams that were available in the organisation I'm in. So I don't necessarily need to be looking elsewhere, though I still kept my options open and was always on Indeed, charity jobs and those different websites to see what was available. But I knew I could also just move internally, and the internal moves may be like easier. So have a plan for your career, share it with people, and like know what steps you need to take to be able to make that plan happen. So the steps I took specifically was I went on a secondment. So I stayed in my initial role, the role that I entered the organisation with, for 18 months, gained all the skills I needed to learn, which were a lot of skills because I was literally straight out of university. Gained all the skills I needed to learn, gained the networks, and like knew like the landscape and like how things worked in my specific team. So who makes the decisions, who is moving at a rapid pace in their career, and how, like, what moves do they make, and how can I emulate that, and those type of things. So I was very like strategic with those things. So I stayed in that role for 18 months. Then a secondment came up, which was like a grade higher than what I was currently on. I went for that and I got it, and that secondment was for 9 months. And if you watch my previous video, I spoke about that a bit more. And that secondment, because it was a fixed term, it was a set time, I knew that by the end of the 9 months, I'm not trying to go back, because progress, like forward ever, backward never. So what is the next position I can move on to in where I currently am? And the next position was literally 3 grades higher, a grade 9. So that meant that I literally just had to very much go for the jump and hope for the best, but also make sure that I knew what the skills for the next level were. and I knew what the skills I currently have. So I knew what the skills gap would be, and then I made a plan to know how I could like know what the difference between where I am and where I'm trying to go would be. So this leads me very well onto my next point, is be strategic in your moves. Sometimes it might be better for you to move diagonally than for you to move up, because like what I realized is for you to be able to move up, somebody needs to move up as well or move out, and that's not always, in most cases anyways, well that was the case in my organization. So sometimes it may be better for you to move to another team, or for you to leave the organization as a comment, or just leave the organization generally and then come back at a higher position. So be very strategic about the moves you make. Like it's literally like a game of chess, and you need to just know what this move will mean for you. I say never move sideways unless you're trying to change industry completely, or you don't have the skill sets for where you're trying to go. Don't just move sideways just for the sake of it. There needs to be a purpose behind like your moves and the decisions you make. I personally think it might be best for you to move diagonally because you're still moving up than for you to move just up. Well, that works for me anyways because I knew where I wanted to go. So I knew that moving diagonally, moving teams will be a better move for me than staying in my current team. Also, different teams have different setups. So in the first team I was in, the setup was literally 5, 6, 7, 8. But then in the other team that I moved to, on secondment, the setup was 6 and then 9. So that meant like if you're able to move, you can move quicker and at a faster pace, but it may just be harder for that move to happen. So just be strategic about where you're gonna go and what that will mean for your career progression essentially. And again, talking through it with somebody will be very helpful. So when I first moved to my other team in a secondment, to be honest, I truly believe it was God. I found like a mentor who was really helpful and was letting me know more about like the setup of the team, what project management skills I would need, and like the different type of things I would need, and who literally give me that homework. So that meant that when an opportunity arose for the grade 9 position, I was able to take it because I actually developed that skill. Again, this leads me to my next point. Know what your skills gap is. Know what the skills gap is and put a plan in place to mitigate it, or to like learn and close the gap essentially. Because if to go from a grade 6 to a grade 9, I'm still gonna have to do the work. So it's not just like, oh my gosh, exciting, I moved up 4 positions or 4 grades in less than a year. But it's like, yo, I went from graduating 2 years ago to being a senior project officer. That is a big jump. So I need to know that I have gained the skills to be able to mean that I'll be good at my job, because you don't want to move prematurely. You don't want to move too early and then you don't actually know how to do your job well. That is the worst thing you can do, because for you to then get promoted again, that's less likely to happen because you're not actually good at your job. There will be nobody advocating for you. So make sure you know what the skills gap is and you're learning, constantly learning and constantly trying to close the gap. So the next point I would like to make is that I think, especially in our generation, you need to be careful with how quickly you move jobs, but also you don't want to stay somewhere too long. So you need to be able to strike the balance between like not moving prematurely but also not staying longer than you need to, because of like complacency, fear and all the different factors that may mean that it will be the case. So I personally would say in a job, depending on your skill set and depending on what you're trying to get out of it, again, have a plan. So no, I need to gain negotiation skills, project management skills and time management skills in this role. Once you gain all those 3, do you still need to be there? And not just gained it, that you've like kind of learned it, but like you're solid in those skills, you're really good at those skills. What are you waiting for? So I would say in terms of time frame, don't stay at a job if it's just like a stepping stone for longer than between 6 months and 18 months, max 2 years. Personally, that's what I believe. Some people may disagree, but I think if you're staying at a job 2 years plus with no progression or no form of progression, promotion, or like moving up, something's wrong. Maybe you're not good at your job, or maybe that's not the place you're meant to be in, and that needs to be something that you need to look into. Like, what is your performance review saying? Like, what is your manager saying about your work and about your progress? Because I think if you're staying in a role for 2 years and the opportunity to get promoted is present and you're not going for it, I say you should be worried personally. So yeah, don't set a role too long, but don't leave too early, because if you're in a role for like 3 months, personally it will take me 3 to 6 months to actually learn how to do my job properly. So if you're only in a role for 3 months, to then go for a promotion, it's too early. Like, genuinely, in my role, a promotion came up in like June, July, but I started my role in May. So I was like, yeah, I don't have the skill sets to actually know and feel comfortable that I'll be good at the job. And it's trusting that another opportunity will come and you'll be ready for it when it does come. So always be on your A game, always be working, always be really good, that when a promotion comes up, people would want you to go for it. So literally, my manager, when the promotion came out, she was like, oh no, you need to apply, you need to go for it, there are vacancies available and you can do the job. I truly believe you can. So that leads me to my next point. Sometimes you just have to take a risk and back yourself. Like, I could have got in my head and was like, Lamide, you're 23, you literally just started this role a couple months ago, like, what do you know about this department, you're new here, just telling myself lies essentially. But I just had to be like, believe that if not me, then who? Like, if not me, then who? There's nothing that I can't learn. Like, I am good at my job, I'm a quick learner, and I deserve this opportunity. So I went for it just out of like let's see what can happen, because at the end of the day, more time, you have nothing to lose but everything to gain. So I went for it and I got it. So, but if you miss every shot you don't try. Like, if I didn't try for it, I would have never known that I could actually get it. And yes, at 23, I am a senior project officer. So that's a risk I took, and it paid off. But you need to be willing to take the risk in the first place. And I think my final point that I will make, I'm sure again others may have some tips that they can put in the comments. So if you yourself have been promoted, or if you're progressed in your career, please do share, like, what specific things have you done that's helped you get to where you are. Like, we're all about learning and growing together, and no man gets left behind. But the final point I would like to make is be visible. Be visible in your workplace, but also know why you're visible. So some people may just be visible because they're always talking, or people always hear their voice. Or you can be visible because you're actually making change in your organisation. So personally, I joined the diversity and inclusion working group in my team, and I was also in a network. So I'm in the BAME, I don't really like the term BAME, but the BAME network in my organisation, which allowed me to be more visible across the organisation. So more people, when they heard Lamide, they know who it is. They recognise the name. They'll be like, oh, does she work here? Or is she this? And they were able to advocate for you. Or the more visible you are, the more likely your name is going to come in mind when people talk. And they may, if you inform people about what you're interested in. So from early, I told my manager that I'm interested in education and young people. Like, that is what I'm passionate about, and that's where I would like to work. That's what I would like to work as in the future. So when I was telling people, when an opportunity comes, they're like, oh, Lamide, you said you wanted this, why not go for this? So I think it's very, very important for you to be visible and for people to know what you're about. And yeah, with visibility, use that for your benefit. So because I was visible in like the networks and stuff, I was able to put myself into for opportunities that allowed me to grow as well. So I was able to create my own career development opportunities. So that was in public speaking, that was in presenting, that was in just different things. And that meant that when it came to the interview, because I was doing interviews with people just for like Black History Month, or because I was presenting in the race, let's talk about race type of theme, it meant that I was able to feel confident enough to have examples for the next level up in the current role that I'm in now. So yeah, be visible, speak to people about what you're on, learn about people's career journeys as well. Like, how did they go from here to here in less than 2 years? And it makes you realise that was possible, because when I first moved teams, there was a colleague who literally did more or less the same thing that I ended up doing, but because she did it, I knew it was possible for me to do it as well. So yeah, that's all I would like to say. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you want more things like this, or if there's a specific topic you'd like me to share my point of view on or my experience on, because one thing I have learned is that I'm good at my job and I'm good at like making progress. So that's why I made this video to share with you guys as well. So yeah, I hope it was useful. Let me know in the comments and I'll see you on the next one. And as always, like, share and subscribe. Like, let this help somebody else. Yeah. Bye.